This is James Holder for IFL TV in association with Mackley's Gym Up Out. I'm quite fortunate enough to be joined by Shane McGUIGAN. We're at the press conference today for the unification clash between Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg. Firstly, how did you enjoy the press conference and what did you sort of take away from that?
It was really enjoyable, wasn't it? It was fun. A lot of banter going around, but a lot of digs as well. And I think a lot of unnerving energy was coming from their side. And I think they were getting rattled that we weren't rising to the bait. And when you're looking for 1 or 2% on this close to the fight, when you're looking for an edge this close to the fight, maybe you're unsure about your fighter.
Do you think today's press conference gives Carl Frampton a mental edge, in your opinion? Is it that much of a sort of big deal, or is it a case of the banter and everyone just trying to play up a little bit?
Nah, the fight has been sold. The fight was sold on the media talk. The fight's been sold on the shows and all, like your guys doing such great work, doing all this coverage. That was nerves. That wasn't playing up. That was them really being unnerved from the whole situation. And we're just being ourselves. We've done all our work. We don't need an edge. We're happy with where we're at. I'm extremely confident in my man doing a number on Scott Quigg, or beating him more importantly. And I know, because I know what we've put ourselves through training. There was a show on Behind the Gloves that portrayed us as being jokers and not really taking ourselves seriously. But I know it's a story. The fact is that when you're a world champion, every single person trains hard. Every person trains hard, but that's the only story that they could go with him. So that's what they just ingrained, that he trains harder than anyone. My dad used to train harder than absolutely anyone, but he had his limitations, and Scott Quigg's got his in abundance.
We obviously are not produced to watch everything that's filmed by Sky on the TV, but from the coverage that was shown and edited, do you think it was unbiased, and do you think you lot got a fair sort of crack at the whip, if you like?
Yeah, I think it was a fair crack of the whip, but I just think they portrayed us as something that we're not, and a slightly unprofessional outfit. I think they portrayed Carl for a genuine person the way he is, but I feel like they tried to portray us as slightly unprofessional. But I don't know. Whatever the case, they might get 1 or 2 more chances of getting it right next time.
Question, obviously on everyone's lips. What's your favourite One Direction song? Are you a big fan of the band?
Is it History? That's the best one, isn't it?
Is that the one, is it?
Yeah, I actually didn't see his interview, because once I laughed at it and I just thought, I can't bring myself round to listening to that guy again. But yeah.
The gist of it basically was, his quote was that he feels that certain aspects of the media are painting you as a sort of young, trendy, One Direction trainer, if you like. That was his point. Well, I can't comment on that. I can just tell you what the quote was.
He sounds a little bit bitter, but I don't know. I don't understand why he should be. He's doing a great job. He's got 3 world champions. He's trainer of the year, the first ever British ring trainer of the year. Be content with yourself. He's not content with himself, and I think that's just a sad. I think he may be a sad man for the rest of his life.
Where does the loser go from here? Do you think this spells the end of the career for each one of these men, or are they young enough and strong enough to come back from this?
Absolutely not. I believe the loser is going to be Scott Quigg, but I believe there's massive fights out there for him after this. You only have to look at the likes of Kiko Martinez, who's now fighting Leo Santa Cruz for the WBC Diamond Belt. There's the next massive opportunity is just around the corner, and for you to feel sheltered or hard done by it for the loser would be silly, because they're going to put on a massive show and really a good account of themselves, and that's what all the fans are tuning in to see. They're tuning in to see 2 likeable guys, 2 legitimate world champions going at it, that are trained extremely hard, that they're putting their lives on the line, and they've both got big armies coming and supporting them. It's going to be an extreme show. I'm so proud to be part of it, and I just wish after a fight everyone can shake hands and get on with it.
What did you make of Scott Quigg and Eddie Hearn's comments that ticket allocation from your side and Carl Frampton's side had been returned, where the full allocation couldn't be sold? What was your sort of response to that, if you like?
There is a response from my side, and the fact is that I had a guy on the undercard that I was looking at, where he was going to be out and he was going to be on the float, and he was going to take a certain amount of tickets, and he had an injury, so he gave some back, and we also had another source that gave some tickets back that wasn't Carl Frampton. The fact is he sold all his tickets. He even had to go and buy 10 £200 tickets off Scott Quigg's nan, and my assistant, a guy called Steve Broughton.
Did he go to the Chippy?
No, he rang up, and it was funny because he rang up and he was chatting away, and he went, "Oh, can I get 10 tickets?" And yeah, and then they said, "Where's the address?" And he started rattling off the gym address, and then they went, "What?" Stupidly, they went, "What name is it under?" And he just froze and he said Darren O'Neill, which is just like the most Irish name. But they still sent him out, and Carl gave him to his mates.
What did you sort of make of Blaine's comments in the press conference? So he's here representing Frampton as sort of the promotion, if you like. Did you think that Scott Quigg and Eddie Hearn were a little disrespectful to him in the press conference?
It's looking for an edge. You know, the end of the day is that he's my brother, and he knows the game inside out. Eddie's just Eddie. You know what I mean? Eddie's just so quick to shoot people down. You know, he has to understand he was once in that position and everyone was shooting him down, so he should be a bit more respectful. As for Scott, he has to also understand that if it wasn't for the likes of my brother Jake and Blaine, that this fight wouldn't be going ahead and he wouldn't be getting the biggest career payday of his life that he's ever going to get. So I think he's just once again showing his limitations of absorbing information.
Quick response round. Who's going to win?
Frampton, 100%. I'm so confident. I've never been so confident in my life that Frampton's going to beat him.
Who's getting the home all-star, bigger spaced dressing room?
Neither. Do you know why? Because it's unfair for either of them to do it. Because, you know, the fact is that we gave Scott the home corner, but it's not the home dressing room. It's the star dressing room. And when you get a guy, you know, if you got a music act come in, they would get that dressing room. Carl Frampton is the A side, as it were. He's coming in second. He's being announced second. He's left on the poster. His name is Frampton Quigg. He is making more money in this fight, and he's, you know, he justifies that dressing room. He feels it would be unfair. I feel it may be unfair if we got that dressing room and they had to get a slightly smaller one. So I said, you know what you should do? Lock the bloody dressing room. Put a security guard outside the front, and there's two exact replicas of each other change rooms. Why not just take that and just be professional about it? This is a 50-50 fight. That shouldn't matter. But unfortunately, it is, and it's only mattering from their side.
Rematch clause?
If the fight is eligible for a rematch clause, if Sky Sports believe it would justify a rematch clause on box office, then yes, I don't think either of the guys would go back to boxing for, you know, each other for a lot lesser money, and I actually don't believe it would justify that. I genuinely don't. I mean, obviously I'm going to be biased because I'm Frampton's coach, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to be pretty one-sided.
Winner to face Guillermo Rigondeaux?
Potentially, yes. I'm not going to swerve that question. I'm going to say definitely potentially. They are going to have to, whatever the case, they're going to have to vacate one belt, but they're going to have to look at their options afterwards. But there's a massive fight on Saturday night, and we're taking one step at a time. Lastly,
but not least, we've obviously got the fans public forum today.
Yeah.
Sort of people from different camps will be there. Will there be any representatives from the McGUIGANs there? Is there anyone we can expect to see?
I don't even know what that is. I haven't been told about it. What is it?
Well, basically, it's open to the public, so they'll have some fans from Belfast, fans from sort of Manchester, England, if the case may be. They're going to come in, ask some questions to everyone, and sort of interact a little bit, I believe.
Is it done by Matchroom, organised by Matchroom?
Well, to be honest, I thought it would be, with the show co-promoted by you both, I thought it would be sort of mutually arranged.
I believe Matchroom organised something for themselves. If that's what this is, I'm not sure, but I don't really want to partake in anything to do with Matchroom unless it's a co-event.
Okay. On that note, Shane, thank you very much for talking to Alpha T. I want to apologise to Shane, actually. I interviewed him at the media lunch the other day. It was one of the best interviews I've probably got from him in a while, and we didn't have any sound, so
let's hope this one works.
Let's hope this one's all right.
Thanks for your time once again.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, James.